Hey, good morning. This is the Missed Pattern Report for Tuesday, November 20th. Happy Thanksgiving. This is Dr. Bob Flower. And let's take a look at some projections coming up in the market. We're looking at next week, the 28th. We're looking for a move in silver. And on the 29th, we're looking for a move in on oil. I'm also anticipating pretty soon here a decline, sort of a sharp decline in the dollar. I'll let you know that could be coming up pretty soon, maybe before the end of the month. But the patterns are showing some sort of hit there. You know, maybe a 3-4% drop over a couple of days. But we'll get to that a little next week, perhaps. But that's definitely on the horizon. Okay, and insofar as the commodities, gas, I'm sorry, the gold and silver, we think it's going to kind of stay in this range for another maybe 4 weeks, 3 weeks for sure, before you see a major move. But and I think we will see that before the end of the year. But I don't think you're going to see it much before Christmas or around Christmas. Okay, so have patience with that. And also, again, with the oil, we don't think that January or February is going to be that positive for oil. We think that there's going to be a major drop in oil given that particular time. Uh, Up from here and then down from there. Okay, so all right. So where are we now with our economy? Well, it's no secret that a lot of people are very discouraged by the election, and I'm hoping that the president changes his whole demeanor and his whole philosophy about our country. Uh, this way, we can get some very positive things done. Uh, we'll know the deal that they're working on with the fiscal cliff will be a key as to where we're going. And of course, they're trying to tie in the spending bill, which I think would be a major mistake if they allowed that to happen. And that meaning the independents and Republicans, um, because that certainly would lead us to a $20 trillion debt um, within the next 2 years, if not sooner. So that's going to be very critical for where we're at and where we're going here. And it certainly seems like the Democrats have the upper hand and they're feeling their oats, but I wouldn't count on that. I think that there's some pretty bad news coming around that's going to be tied directly to them. They're not going to be able to lay it off on the Republicans or the Bush administration. I think you're going to hear about that certainly by before the spring, right after the New Year's. Um, and while things did get worse last year in many respects, um, they're going to get much worse. Uh, we we saw where the Twinkies case, 18,500 jobs. Uh, they may make a comeback here with that, but I think that there's too many other companies that are talking, including, for instance, the U.S. Postal Service. I mean, they're talking about laying off something like over 50,000 employees. Um, so we certainly are at a critical point in our country. Let's just hope that that Mr. Obama comes around and foregoes his issue of fairness, because first off, as far as I'm concerned, uh, not he, not anybody, has a right to declare what's fair. Until he has gone through what I have gone through and others in this country, he can't say that you have to give it up for others who are not. No. The answer throughout history has been that these people have to learn. The have-nots have to learn how to become independent, self-assured, and successful. And that's not an easy thing, not at all. And the criticism of the rich have to pay their fair share. We discussed this before. Is an absolutely ridiculous position. They've already paid dearly, and people who are working for a living, for the most part, do not have the attributes, the qualities, the values, and the tenaciousness it takes to be a successful entrepreneur and to become very wealthy. So I don't see where you can say that half the people in this country don't pay federal income tax, but the other parts that do, and paying a majority of the taxes, have to pay, quote, a fair share. And I'm very, very disappointed at my conservative Republican friends because they're a bunch of idiots. Right? They don't know how to run a campaign. They don't understand values. Even though they may be right in a lot of cases, they're wrong in a lot of cases. And I'm kind of sick and fed up at listening to some of these morons on talk radio, who keep pushing these values that are ancient. I've said this before. I personally feel I'm more of a libertarian than I am anything, and I think that people have to be assisted. People who try hard. And in fact, I want to just relate a quick story to you. I was with a couple of fellows, minorities, who worked on my campaign, and we got together to kind of have a Thanksgiving feast, and I noticed that they both had cell phones, two each, and I said to them, I said, what are you guys running numbers or dope or something like that? And kidding around, and they said, no, this one is ours, and this one we got from the government. And I said, oh yeah, I said, that's you got that free phone and free time card? And they said yes. So I said, well, Jesus, so who has it better than you guys? You got cell phone paid for, the time, cell time paid for. You got Section 8 and whatnot. And they both almost at the same time said the same thing to me. Bob, we would rather be in your position than not having a job and be in our position. And that's striking. That's and I find that with a lot of minorities that although they're receiving a lot of assistance, that's not where they would like to be, but they don't know how to get there. They don't have the ability. Most of them come from broken homes, and they're struggling to learn how to take care of their kids and their obligations. And that there's a lot of them. I don't say that they're all like that, but there's a lot of them. And no matter how you try and help them, there's always that air that they don't have the confidence, they don't have the resources, personal resources to get the job done, and it's twice as hard. And then when you throw things at them for free, it kind of conflicts them. But their values are just as good and sound in many cases as anybody. So I think that my re- Republican brethren um, have a lot to learn with this election, and I think that there's some overreach here by some, especially on the ultra conservative side, just like there is on the ultra liberal side. I just can't, it's getting harder and harder for me and a lot of my friends and colleagues to accept where we are at and where they're heading and where the country is heading, because we understand, truly understand, the values that it took to get uh, to be successful. So with that, I think that we ought to wish the president well. Hopefully that he loses this concept of fairness as he sees it. Um, if that everybody pay their fair share. Well, I'd like to see even those who don't have significant jobs to pay something. Put some skin in the game. I don't care if it's $100 a year in taxes, $200 a year in taxes. If you have 80 million, that's that people paying that minimum, then heck, you got yourself well over $1 billion a year. That might seem like a lot, but it is. It certainly adds up. But more importantly, it lends credence to the concept of self governance, self dependence, and that's the thing that's going to go, because once again, it's so obvious. Just look at France. Look at Greece. Look what's happening there, and you have to understand that that's 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 America a couple of years off, if not sooner, um, because things are happening more rapidly. And I think definitely what you're going to see within the next 90 to 120 days is your numbers jumping up like crazy. Your unemployment numbers, your GDP numbers are going to be just going to be horrific. You got a number of companies that are about to make major layoffs, and if they don't see things changing in the direction of the country, especially from the top, you better believe it's going to be a major hit to the United States and its economy. Not good at all. Okay, so that's the feeling. Thanksgiving is a couple of days away. Uh, we should all try and give thanks, no matter what our position is. Um, we do have the gifts, we do have the talents to be more than what we are. All of us, every one of us, and Thanksgiving for Americans is a day of giving thanks for what we have, not for what we want, um, and build from there. And so I wish you all the best of Thanksgiving and the best of what what you can bring to the table and what America can bring to all of us who are responsible and respectful. Happy Thanksgiving.